Well, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you to the final 10 days of the 10-10-10 Heroic Transformation Accelerator. And I really want to applaud you. I want to applaud you for being fascinated with everyday heroism. I want to applaud you for being the kind of person who wants to leave the crowd and do amazing things and be a noble person and be an excellent person and create your magic for the world while you lead a life you truly adore. And that's really what the final 10 days of this 30-day intensive is all about. It's about creating a world-class life that actually serves the world. And there's two elements in that. A world-class life. That's not an ordinary life. It's not a life spent being busy, getting too caught up with entertainment, never really developing intimacy with your heroism and your giftedness and your powers. A world-class life is one that soars. A world-class life is one that honors your sovereign powers and the primal hero that lives at your core. A world-class life is one where you do produce your masterwork and send it out in the world to inspire all witnesses while you honor yourself. A world-class life is one, I think, that's living by your standards. And the highest of standards, I think a world-class life is very much about being authentic, which is, here are my values, here's how I want to talk, here's what feels right to me instinctually, here's where I want to live, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to conduct myself, and you actually honor that instinct versus being a card-carrying member of the cult of mediocrity. A world-class life has great health associated with it. A world-class life has excellent productivity associated with it. A world-class life has tremendous amounts of integrity associated with it. And a world-class life is very much about being helpful. I think the human who helps the most people wins. I'll repeat that again because I think it's so important. The human who helps the most people wins. And ultimately, life is an incredibly short ride. It really is. How often do people say, life just went by in a blink? You study the research done of people done on their deathbeds, and it was, where did all the time go? They were busy postponing their highness and their greatness. And that's why I applaud you for investing in this premium digital program. That's why I applaud you for reading the Everyday Hero Manifesto. That's why I applaud you for being open and embracing and studying the material from the book that I've taken you times 25 in this course from the book. I wanted this program to be so much deeper and so much more tactical and even more inspirational than what you read in the Everyday Hero Manifesto. And so, it's very easy to be frightened. I think in many ways, personal transformation is a death of sorts. I think you must let go of the old you. I'll put it to you this way. The old you must experience a crucifixion before your finest you can experience a resurrection. And that's why I've always seen the process of getting better as a human being and becoming more heroic and becoming more masterful. It's a series of little deaths. You're going to experience a death of your old way of working, and then the new you emerges as a master. You're going to experience a death of the old way of producing, because you have to allow your next you to emerge. Spiritually, you must be willing to let go of your old spiritual you. It experiences a death. The mystics call it a dark night of the soul. It's not comfortable at all. No death is easy, but what happens? You're born anew to your next level of spirituality. And that's why I so love the words of Richard Bach, who wrote one of my favorite books, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And he said, what the caterpillar sees as the end of the world, the master sees as the butterfly. So, I wanted to read from, again, it's one of my favorite books, The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. And there's a paragraph. It's on page 129 of this edition. I love this edition. It's the Penguin Books edition, translated by Maxwell Staniforth. I'm mentioning that in case you want to buy it. And it's from page 129. So I'll get right into it. Now, your remaining years are few. Live them as though on a mountaintop. Whether a man's lot, obviously it applies to men, women, every gender, whether a man's lot be cast in this place or in that matters nothing, provided that in all places he views the world as a city and himself a citizen. Give men the chance to see and know a true man living by nature's law. If they cannot brook the sight, let them do away with him. Better so than to live as they live. And I know the first many times I read Meditations, it was very confusing for me, but I kept on coming back to it. And to me, what that paragraph speaks to is, even if you're very young, life is short. We don't have a lot of years in human life. Before we know it, we will be at the end, and people will be singing songs at our funerals. And so it's important to remember to live your life as if you're on a mountaintop, looking down and seeing the world as if you are a citizen and asking yourself the fundamental questions. And at this part of the last 10 days, I want to start off with reminding you, life is short. Too many people postpone living their highness, doing work that is difficult but allows them to realize their potential. Too many people create that integrity gap I spoke of in an earlier lesson, where there's a large gap between the people they know that they are. In other words, the primal hero that lives at their core, that gold beneath all the layers of doubt and hurt and wounding and shame and insecurity and negative programming and toxicity sent to us by the world, so that we fundamentally forget who we are. But at our core is that primal hero. And if you don't start living it, and it is an incremental process, you don't have to become that person today, but every day get closer by doing better work, by making less excuses, by being more positive, by being kinder, by seeing every person you meet as a brother or a sister and a chance to serve them, by taking care of your health, by calibrating your spirituality every day through prayer, journaling, meditation, being in nature. And as you do that day by day, the small little wins stack into massive victories. And you start to grow closer. And it's almost like investing. You make those little contributions and deposits and investments every single day, and they seem so small. They're the micro wins, the 1% wins. And yet the days slip into weeks, the weeks slip into months, and eventually there's exponential gains in your mindset, heart set, health set, soul set, skill sets, quality of your work, your financial fortune. And you find that as the years go by, it gets more and more momentum, and you ultimately do reach primal heroism at the highest level. And the ideal is to completely close the integrity gap. So the person you are in the world is the person the world sees. You know, I want to honor you for being here with me in this lesson, because the world does need more heroes. And why should we wait for them when you truly have it in you to become an everyday hero? Because real heroism and true power is not about an office or a position or a station. It's about every human being realizing the people that they are built to be. No matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter what your past is, no matter what you do, do not buy into the seduction and hallucination that, oh, you don't have the right title, or you don't live in the right place, or you had a difficult background, or times are hard, that you can't today start the process or continue the process to become an amazing human being who inspires so many people. You know, let's say you work as a baker. Let's say you work as a farmer. If every day you're helping people, let's say it's 10 people a day. At the end of that 1 year, what's that? 365 times 10. That's almost 4,000 people, maybe even more. At the end of 10 years, that's 40,000 people. At the end of 50 years, that's 5 fours, 200,000 people. Please don't tell me you're not the kind of person who can change the world by being an everyday hero who does amazing things every day. Because your days are your life in miniature. And what you do today predicts and defines your future. Hope this lesson's been valuable. Can't wait to see you in the next one.